Yo, what's poppin', everybody? It's the Struggle Gaming, and today I kind of have it's this little thing I made up. Does it suck? I'm gonna talk about the Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2. Let you know if it's worth your penny. It's been out for a while, so I'm sure it's a little cheaper than retailed $60 games. But let's
Start
get
off with
into
the
it. Let's
bad
find out.
first, and the bad is the story in this game for sure. And when I tell you it's aggressively bad, I am not joking. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I was expecting a great story from a movie game. I wasn't expecting The Last of Us, but I was expecting better than this. So it starts off like every Spider-Man game, Spider-Man's grandpappy passes away. And that's when he realizes with great power comes great responsibility. And that's cool or whatever. That's what you expect from a Spider-Man story. That's not a problem. The problem is the rest. There are so many characters in this game, and you will not care about any of them besides Spider-Man. You have a million cameos from a million different characters, and you can't tell me you couldn't make one of them interesting. And I don't even want to get started on the whole hero menace thing they had going on. I'll put it short. Kingpin has the task force, and the task force decides if you're helping the community enough. And God forbid you don't get to every single one of the 15 city events happening at the same exact time. Because Lord knows if you don't, they will be on your ass with everything. Pause. And they'll go away if you do about 2 to 3 side missions, but still, the fact that you can't even swing around without them being everywhere is a problem. And since we're still on everything negative, let me not skip over the Peter Parker segments. These are some of the most annoying parts of this game. All you do is walk around with Peter Parker and try to find out more information on every single bad guy in the story. And I can see how this could have been kind of, interesting if the story was good. But the story is not good. The only character you talked to that had some interesting moments was Craven, and even then, they would still get long, drawn out, and eventually just become annoying. But enough of the negatives, let's get to some of the positives, and one of the most positive parts of this game is web swinging. And unlike the original game, in this game, your web's actually attached to buildings. And that's pretty dope because not only are you attached to a real object, so you can actually kind of cut around, maybe a building or let's say a tree, but also it makes it a lot more realistic. Another thing they got right was the web rush mechanic. There will be moments when you're falling and you're trying to swing onto something, but there's nothing there, and Spider-Man's looking at you like, what is you doing? And all you got to do is just hold R1 and it kind of freezes time so you can find something and get, to safety. There are also some pretty cool side missions. I mean, nothing groundbreaking, but still. They'll help you get away from that story, and you'll definitely want that. Most of them are actually kind of fun, except for the fire missions. Those are legit terrible. Like, I have no footage of them because I avoid them at all costs. So, forewarning, if you don't have to do a fire mission, just don't do it. Except for the rooftop fire missions. Those aren't that bad, but you can never tell the difference when you start them, so still, avoid them. But I mean, everything else is cool. I mean, saving people, taking them to the hospital, car chases, all those side missions are fun. It's what you expect from a Spider-Man game. It wouldn't be, a Spider-Man game without them. Another plus in this game is definitely the comic shop. It's pretty dope that like Stan Lee runs it and he kind of has a part in the game. By no means is it a huge role, but it's definitely something, and it's kind of cool that they threw him in there. Now, in the comic shop, they have concept art, figures, comics, and also an arcade mode. And the arcade mode is nothing more than, fighting waves of enemies, but near the end it can get a little challenging. The enemy types aren't very deep in this game. It's usually the, common thugs. But when they're all coming at you at once, it can get a little difficult. And with a lot of enemies coming at you at once, you need good combat. And yes, it is a Batman Arkham clone. Yes, you press square to beat him up. Yes, you press triangle to dodge, but it really makes you feel like Spider-Man taking on all these bad guys. And by no means is the combat anywhere as deep as the Batman Arkham games. But it's not a Batman Arkham game. It's its own game. It's Spider-Man, and it's not perfect by any means, but it's fun. And I think that's all it was trying to be. The combat was definitely my favorite part of the game, and if you like Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure you'll probably have a good time with it too. I personally feel like Spider-Man might have a younger audience than Batman. And that could be part of the reason why the combat is so pick up and play. But also I could be giving them too much credit. But the combat works, so I'll leave it there. A part of the game that really surprised me though was the Russian hideout missions. They were actually pretty creative. They were well put together. You can't get through them if you just run through and try to beat everybody up. You actually have to hide in the shadows, wait for enemies to come out. The stealth was really good. They honestly weren't clunky and hard to get through, even though the spaces might have been a little tighter than normal. You could always use the web rush and kind of slow down time, and that worked perfectly for these moments. And of course, you can't have a Spider-Man game and not have multiple costumes to pick from. And they actually make doing those Russian hideouts kind of fun, because at the end of every Russian hideout, you unlock a new costume. Now, does it make sense that they have a bunch of Spider-Man costumes just chilling in Russian hideouts? No, it doesn't. But you know what? I'm going to miss all that. I'm not even going to get into that right now. Because we're on the positive, and I'm going to continue to be positive here. But no, seriously, is it the best game out there? Of course not. No, it's not winning any awards. It's probably not even underrated, to be honest. But it is fun, and it makes you feel like Spider-Man. I'll give it that much. And if that's what you're looking for, you love Spider-Man like I love Spider-Man, and you just want to, swing around the city, have fun, do, side missions, honestly, it's not terrible in that aspect. So in conclusion, I say, if you got a couple bucks to spare and you like Spider-Man, why not give it a try? I'm sure you're not going to pay full price for it. It's been out for a while now. The story is definitely the biggest problem, but if you can get past that, I think you can, find a decent Spider-Man game. It's definitely not for everybody, but it's worth a try.
So what do you think about this game? Does it suck? Do you love it? Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, let me know also if you think I should continue to make these type of Does It Suck, almost reviews for older games that I've played and I'm replaying. So yeah, let me know. And if you like podcast and reaction videos, I'll leave my my other channel in the description below. So definitely go check that out. I'll see you, baby.